Hello, thanks for joining me for today. Today's practice is all about the knees and strengthening the knees. So we're going to work through just some stabilizing of those big muscles, the quadriceps and the hamstrings that help to support the knee to track properly. You will need a couple of things for this session. So if you can have a rolled up blanket, you could also use a foam roller if you don't have a rolled up blanket, or maybe like a cushion, a block, or maybe like one of those little balls if you don't have a block. And if you have got a bolster, just have that nearby. You don't have to have it. It might be nice for one of the poses that we do at the end. So we're going to start with our rolled up blanket. And so just have it rolled up, and we're going to just start in a resting pose to begin with before we move into some of the practice. So just letting the legs rest down onto the blanket underneath the knees, and we're going to fold forward just to settle and ground. And allow yourself to curve here. You can let your arms rest down, palms facing up or down, whatever's most comfortable. Start to deepen into your breathing. A sense of relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the face. And starting to tune into the body. Noticing any sensations that you might be feeling right now. And whatever those sensations might be, see if you can observe with curiosity without trying to get into too much of a narrative about whether it's good or bad or anything else that you might be thinking about in relation to that. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose and then out through the mouth. 2 more like that. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Last time, inhaling and exhaling. And then inhale to come back into an upright position. We're going to keep this right leg over the blanket and just bring this left leg so it's out of the way. You can just bring it, fold it in, or if it feels more comfortable to extend it out, that's completely fine as well. I'm going to have this blanket so it's centered underneath the leg, and then just have your hands behind you just to help you lengthen up out of the lower back. And the first thing we're going to do, allow the leg to be really relaxed. We're going to think about drawing that quadricep up and flexing the foot. You think about the knee being in line with that second toe when you straighten the leg, and then we're going to let that relax down. And we'll just repeat that. So we're going to draw that quadricep up, flex the foot towards you, and then releasing it down. Lengthen up through both sides of the waist. Inhale, engage that quadricep, and then exhale. And again, inhale, flex the foot towards you, and then exhaling. And we're going to go 5 more like that. So draw the quadricep up, foot towards the face, and release it down. Lengthen up through the lower back. Flexing, engage that quadricep, and completely release. We've got 3 more. So stretch and straighten and release. And you're probably going to feel these muscles already now. And this is 2. And this is 1. And release. Let's swap it around. So we're going to bring this right leg folded in and take this left leg out long, and let's pop that blanket right under the center. You want to keep the hip lined up with the knee, and the knee lined up with that second toe. And so hands beside you, think about growing tall, and then taking an inhale, engage this quadricep, you're drawing that kneecap up, flex the foot towards the face, and then releasing it down. And again, engaging that quadricep, foot towards the face and releasing it down. And again, engage, think about engaging actively through both sides of the quadricep and release. And again, heel pressing away and release. And again, inhaling and exhaling. Lengthen up, let's go. We've got 5 more. Engage, straighten and release. And again, draw that thigh up and release. Let that foot relax completely in between sides and then go again. Draw that quadricep up, flex through the foot and then release. Let the foot relax and let's go 3. Draw that quadricep up. This is 2. Foot towards the face and then release, relax the foot. And then this is 1. Engage that quadricep and releasing that down. And now let's remove the blanket, pop it off to the side and take your block, have it beside you. We're going to lie down onto our back. Finding your constructive rest position. So we're going to have feet about hip distance apart. Again, you're thinking about that parallel position. So center of the hips going all the way up the center of the thigh to meet up with the knees. And then the knees, if there was a line, you're going to drop down through the shin bone. The line continues out through that second toe. Take your block, place the block in between the thighs. And you might need to bring the feet a little bit closer together. That's okay. Just find a position where the block, or if you've got a ball, can rest in between the thighs. And you want to very lightly draw inwards with the inner thighs. So we're going to work with the adductors as well as the hamstrings and the glutes here. Just take a moment, let the back settle into the mat, palms facing down. Take an inhale. As you exhale, we're going to press down through the feet and then lifting up, pressing through the hamstrings, gently squeezing the block in. So try not to puff up too much, just squeezing in rather than puffing up with the hips. Keep pressing down through the base of the big toe, and then we're going to release that down. And we're going to take an inhale as we lift up, gently squeezing in with the block, and then exhale to release down. And then again, inhale, lifting up, squeeze, and then exhale to release. We'll go 5 more like that. Inhale to lift, squeeze, and exhale to release. We've got 4 more. This is 4. And 3. And 2. On your last one, we're going to hold it up there. So you're gently squeezing in with the inner thighs. Try to engage the upper part of the glutes. Keep the breath nice and easy here. I'm going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take an inhale and then exhale. Let's release it down. Now pop the block off to the side and we're going to bring the feet in a little bit closer together. If you can, bring the feet side by side. If that feels too much for your knees, then just let them separate slightly. Try to keep the feet parallel, palms facing down. And then let's take the hips back up into that bridge position. That activation through the inner thighs, drawing in. This might be enough for you to hold it here. If you can, we're going to extend that right leg so it stays level with the left thigh. Point through the right foot, Keep grounding down through that left foot. Keep breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place that right foot down. Take a moment, center. And then let's extend that left leg long. So try not to lift it up too high. We're going to keep it really level with that right thigh. Point through the left foot for 5, 4, 3. Keep both hip bones level. 2, 1. Place that left foot down. Take an inhale and then exhale. Come all the way back down. Bring the knees in towards the chest. Either roll to one side or rock yourself up to a seated position. Crossing the leg, come over into your tabletop position. We're just going to do a little bit of moving before we continue on with our strengthening. So finding your tabletop position and taking a couple of cat-cows. Inhale, lift the eyes. Exhale, seek through the spine. Tuck the chin in. And again, inhale to release. And exhale, go the other way. And again, inhaling. And exhaling. Then coming back into your neutral spine. Tuck the toes under, coming into down facing dog. Just taking a couple of breaths in your down facing dog. Just being mindful that you're not locking out through the knees here. So you want to think about engaging the quadriceps just as we were doing down on the mat. Start to walk the feet forward up towards the top of the mat. Just coming all the way to the top. Have the feet hip distance apart. Let the head relax. Knees can be as bent as they need to. And then soften through the knees. Think about those knees tracking towards that second toe and spine roll to come all the way up to standing. And we'll just take a little moment here just to think about this alignment. So that line through the center of the hip, you want it to track down through the center of the knee and then out through that second toe. So when you're thinking about bending through the knees, you're thinking about the knees tracking towards that second toe. And sometimes structurally things might be going on, and so your knee might not be going exactly in that way, but that's just the guideline, okay? So what we're going to do now is grab your block once again, similar to what we did in our bridge position, but we're going to take Utkatasana. So we're going to pop the block in between the thighs. Thinking about gently squeezing it in. Think about trying not to puff the hips forward or tilt the pelvis forward. So you want to think about a neutral spine, letting that, not pushing the block forward, not pushing the block back, tailbone dropping down, pelvis is upright. So if you imagine that the pelvis is like a bowl, if you're tilting it forward, that water's falling out, and if you're tilting it that way, the water's falling out the back. So neutral pelvis, and then we're going to keep your hands on the hips. Let's bend through the knees tracking towards that second toe, gently squeezing the block, palms of hands coming together, and we're going to sit down a little bit deeper if you can. Keeping long through the spine. Just use your breath to meet that rising sensation in the body. Maybe shift the weight slightly back into the heels. Last 2 breaths. And then press down through the feet to come back up to standing. Pop the block down. Bring the feet together side by side. Bring the palms of hands together. And then bend back down into your Utkatasana legs. We're going to start to shift the weight slightly into this right leg and reach this left foot back. You can just be on the tippy toes of this left foot. Think about that right knee tracking towards that second toe. Pelvis is staying in square position. So you're not opening out this hip. Left hip is in line with the right hip. Palms and hands come together. Keep this back leg parallel. So we're going to focus on this supporting leg, drawing that quadricep up. And we're going to take a little tiny lift of this left leg. Lift and tap. Lift and tap. Lift and tap. You might be shaking, and that's totally fine. We're really strengthening up this right leg. We're going to go for 5. We're not tilting the torso forward, not tilting the pelvis forward. 4, 3, 4, 2. Hold it up, 1. Come into a standing balance. We're going to bring this left knee up into the chest. Long through the crown of the head. And then place that left foot down. Let's go to the other side. Bending through the knees. Allowing the torso to tilt forward slightly, but you're trying to keep long through the spine. Start to take this right leg back long behind you. So on the tippy toes of the right foot, think about the hips being square. When you lift the leg, it's a really small action. So don't go into a tilting forward of the pelvis. You want to hold the pelvis still. Think about this left knee tracking towards that left second toe. And then we're going to take a little lift and tap. Lift and tap. Lift and tap. Check in with the breath. This is such a little action that takes so much effort. For 5, 4, 3, 2, hold the last one up, 1, and then let's bring that right knee up in towards the chest, draw that left quadricep up, little balance, and let's place that right foot back down. Nice work. Let's bring the hands down by the waist, take the arms up, inhale, palms and hands come together, exhale, forward fold Uttanasana. Feel free to bend through the knees here. Let the head relax down. Take an inhale into your halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Bend the knees and step back just about a half down dog, so not too far. And then come down onto your knees, tops of feet down, sitting over to one side. Extend the legs out long in front of you. Now this is somewhere where you might want to have your bolster behind you. We're going to take half saddle or half virasana. So we're going to bring this left foot back behind. So the toes are pointing back and that right leg is straight, flexing through that right foot. If this feels way too strong for you, or if your knee's really lifted up in the air, you could pop your leg up on a blanket. That sometimes helps. First of all, we're going to go forward. Arms down by your side, flexing that right foot. Take an inhale, reach the arms up. And then exhale, folding down to where you can. Hands can come down onto the ground. Or if you feel comfortable to hold onto that right foot, go for that. Try to let that left sitting bone drop back down. And if you're really rolling over onto the right hand side, you can use this right hand to help you stabilize. Let the shoulders relax. And then inhale to come back upright. Now we're going to start to lie back if that feels available for you. Have the bolster, if you're lying down on a bolster, a little bit away from you, so probably about 10 centimeters away, just so you can lengthen out through the lower back. I'm going to pop the hands down behind and then lift the hips up and just curl the tailbone under slightly to just lengthen out the lower back, and then lying down onto the bolster. If you've got one, if you feel comfortable to lie all the way down onto your back, that makes it stronger. Feel free to go for that. And then option to take those arms up letting the arms relax back. And if you'd like to close down the eyes, just feel free. And you can let that right foot just relax a little bit. And with each exhale, noticing if there's any letting go that can happen here. And if this pose is just too strong for any reason, if there's sharpness in your knee, then please come out and just take a forward fold, or you could take the left foot against the right foot, so you're in a tree position rather than this half asana. And then if you're down on your back or the bolster, let's open the eyes, take the hands down, use your hands starting to come back up to a seated position, weight into the right hand so you can take that left leg forward. And then let's take this right foot back behind now, right toes pointing back. You want to try to have that right knee in. Remember, you can cushion underneath the leg. If this is too strong for you, just place the sole of the right foot to the inside of that left thigh. Okay? And then let's take the arms up, inhale, and then exhale, folding forward to where you can, maybe using this left hand to help you stabilize, or take hold of the leg, ankle or foot. And then inhale, coming back upright. Going for that reclined position if that's comfortable. You might be staying up here rather than going all the way back. Otherwise, if you can, you're lifting those hips up, curl the tailbone under slightly, lengthen out the lower back, and then starting to lay yourself back onto your bolster or all the way back. Option to take those arms up above the head, relaxing the left foot and closing down the eyes. Just noticing if there's much difference between one side to the other. And sometimes if we're much tighter on one side, we could go back to that tighter side and do it again. And then if you're down on your back, just releasing those arms, take the hands down onto the mat, starting to lift yourself back up onto the hands, and then weight into the left hand so you can release that right foot back from behind you. Both legs long for a moment. Give the legs a little bit of a wriggle out. And just to finish off here, we're going to just rub the outside of the knee. Just really rub the outside of the knee. Just generating a little bit of heat there. And then also the other side. You want to add a decent amount of pressure as you're rubbing the outside of the knee. And then finishing that off. And just to finish off, we're just going to give the legs a little bit of a wriggle. So you're really just letting everything relax. You're relaxing the muscles of the thighs now, trying to soften them out. And it will just really have that jiggling sort of feeling. Okay. And we're going to lie back into our Shavasana. If you would like to, you could pop a bolster underneath your knees or a rolled up blanket. When you're ready, just lying back. Just taking a little bit of time, make yourself feel comfortable. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more time. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just allow the breath to settle back into its natural rhythm. Surrendering the weight of the body. Just allowing the muscles of the face to relax. Releasing the jaw, the front of the throat, the shoulders and the belly. This whole body letting go. Just resting here for as long as you would like to. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Namaste.